Hey, so as you know, the 2024 Olympics are ongoing, and some of the track and field events are just getting started. And what I wanted to try to attempt to do is to predict the some of the results. And I wanted to start with the men's 10K or 10,000 meters. So I have here listed the all the men that are entered into the race that I know of. And it's later today, so I'm going to try to use a machine learning model, or an ARIMA model actually, to predict the times and then sort them by the fastest times, and we'll see if that plays out on actually who wins. I know it's going to be a tactical race, so it's not going to be like, hey, you're going to run your best time, but it's a fun way to just see how accurate I am as far as who's first. Now, what I did to begin with, so I have a MySQL database with race results from all of these runners. Now, some of them, like Nico Young, for example, I wasn't able to find very many 10K results. And the way the model works that I have set up that I'm about to show is it's only it needs like 5 results to really work. I'm going to try to get around it if I can, but if I can't, then I may have to just drop Nico and a few others out if I can't get it to work with them in there. But essentially, what I did is I went to their page with all their results on the World Athletics website, and I'll just show you Nico Young for an example. World Athletics. Just went to his profile, and I did this for every athlete. Went to their results, and when I found one, like here's one of his 10K results, and here's another one. I just took that and put that in the database, and that's what the model's going to use to predict the next result. So with that out of the way, I'm going to show kind of what I did or how I made this. So I made this in Python. And so first, I've made several models over the years, I guess. And so this is kind of my default libraries that I import. We're not going to use all these, but the main one that I'm using here is this Auto ARIMA. Actually, I might just be using this ARIMA version. Actually, I'm not using Auto ARIMA. So Auto ARIMA, the idea there is it will come up with auto populate the parameters for the model, whereas I think I'm actually hard coding in the parameters. And the reason why that's important is that's why it needs at least 5 results for this to work, how I have it set up. So I'm going to, so we'll just test it out and see. So, but we're going to just put all this together. So I have a few things that I have imported here. We probably don't need, but I'm just gonna go with it. So again, I have a few things that I'm just pasting in here. So now, you want to set up your database connection. I'm not going to show that here because I don't want to show my database stuff, but put your connecting, if you're using a local MySQL or MySQL database, you would put that here, right, just above, and it would be something like, you'd have your connection information, like your host, your user, your password, and your database. And so what I'm doing here, so I'm saying select the user, the date, the miles, the time. I'm calculating the pace based off the actual time for the event. The miles is just the distance. Type, which in this case is all races. Now, I have other models that I've tried to create in the past off, like for myself and for other local runners, where I actually have training data. Here I only have race results. I did add country and gender because if I do want to add females to this later on some of their results, I have the database set up for that. And the table, this is the table name. I just made this for the Olympics here. So let's see. So we're going to go through this step by step just to show you. So of course, I'm using Python. I'm using some pandas. I'm using a pandas data frame. So here I'm just saying, hey, convert it to a data frame after I pull in the results from the database. And then I'm going to, let's do some stuff here. So after I do that, I'm going to, okay, so I'm just converting the date to a date format, sorting it on the date. So the reason why that's important, so depending on how I or you, if you were doing this on your own, which order you put in the results, it may be different, right? So I've already put in some results for some of the guys' 1500 meter results. So like Jakob Ingebrigtsen, his latest time is his fastest, but I put that in first, and then I went like backwards. And so if I didn't sort by date, it may look like, hey, your the first result is, at the end after I got done, was maybe slower than your last result, or vice versa. So I wanted to just sort it by, you want to make sure you want to sort it by the date to make sure that the race results are in order. Kind of shows, hey, are you getting faster or slower? So kind of dropping those without values, that's no big deal. So here's where some of the stuff we're not actually using. This was if I was going to use a different type of model. You're going to, use like pace, use, how much they're running per week, how many minutes. I made all sorts of parameters here that I was using for a different type of model. But I'll show that just to keep this kind of going. And then this is just a few more things that you're adding up. Kind of in this case, I was trying to show for local runners, how much are they running, who's running more, that sort of thing plays into how the training is going. So let's see now. So this is all of my data frame stuff. So I get it down to username and race mile. So what that means is I'm grouping it by the race distance. So in this case, so like right now our database, it only has six or seven athletes, all for the men's 1500 meters. I do have Jakob Ingebrigtsen. I have a couple of his 5K results. So he's in there twice, or for two different distances, one for 5K and one for the 1500. So, okay, so now let's get to the meat of this. Again, I'm using an ARIMA model. So this has been one of, in the past, one of the more accurate models for predicting race results. So I thought I'd just go with it. So let's see. So yeah, I'm using ARIMA, meaning this is not the auto ARIMA. Doesn't look like, but not quite there yet. So, and then I'm defining this ARIMA model, the order. So yeah. Okay. Trying to see here. And then we're going to define, so let me, I'm just going to paste in essentially everything and then kind of explain it and go from there. So, okay, I'm just going to paste in the rest of the code here. Again, I've already done this for other results here. So, hey, we're saying a function to train the ARIMA model, make the predictions. So again, we're focused on, again, you can have different race distances, and so we want to keep that as how we group them together. So I'm saying up front, hey, if you don't have at least 2 results, I'm not even going to try. If you don't have enough, so I'm wondering if this is the 5 that I'm saying you gotta have, but we'll play with that. Let me check real quick on Nico Young, because I know he has like the least. Yeah, I only have 2 results for 10K for him. So I don't think I'm gonna get this to work, but let's just try it. So I'm actually gonna do it in the real thing I have over here. If I can find it here. So, okay. Okay, so it's seeing it's going through the number of predictions. At the end I only want 1 prediction, and I want the fastest one. That's just this min. So it goes through, it's doing 3 predictions, it's taking the fastest one. We might adjust that as well. So, and then it's going to print out, hey, it processed the race result, the race. So again, I had some trouble with this when I first set it up, so I had to print out and make sure it was working correctly. The last 4 times I am. So, and then we have a list, and then it's going to say, hey, it's grouped in, for each group, a username and race mile. So again, like Jakob, he's in here twice, so he'll have 2 results, one for 1500 and one for 5K. It's training them all. It's training. Again, if you don't have enough data, we can't. And then, so I made a little list here, or dictionary, because I'm going to use this with how I put this back into a different table within the database. That way, and then I have a front end which is written in PHP to show the results. And what I do is I just merge or I join the predictions data table to the actual race results table, and then I show, hey, this is your fastest race result, and this is what you're predicted to run, and it sorts it by the predictions. So I do print out the error to see kind of how accurate it is. Now, because we changed this to 2, assuming that's what I think it is, it won't be as accurate, right? So of course, the more iterations you go through, the more, the better it's going to be, kind of deal. But I do print that out to give me some sort of idea on if I change any of these things, how that impacts the error. And so what I do is I do insert it into the table, and on this, if it's the same one again, so if I made some changes and ran it again, it would overwrite and update the time. And then that's it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to run this. Now again, I didn't show everything here because of my local database information, but we're going to try it. And I just have this file named. All right, so let's see what happens. Now, because I have some of the 1500 meter runners in there, they will still be there. Oh, see, so let's see. Yeah, Nico Young, because he only has the 2, he doesn't have enough. So what I think I might do, just So let's see if where else am I doing? Yes. Now I don't know if it's auto doing that or if I actually have that hard coded, but essentially did not like that, huh? Well, the row here is not going to do anything because I actually have it saved here, but we're going to go back to 5 on that. And within the class is where I made that change, so just to see what. All right, I made a couple changes. Let's see if it works this time. Yeah. So it's saying that. Now, what I did is I just undid, so it's still giving me that. Let's see. One more time. And one more time. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to take out Nico Young, since he only has 2 results that I could find. Let's see if that fixes this issue. Oh, so there's still one more. This guy doesn't have enough either. Yeah, he only has 4, and you gotta have at least. So I removed him. So there's a couple that's gonna be missing from my results, but hey, so it worked. So I do have quite a bit of error there. So 991, just now for a 10K, as you can imagine, it's a lot harder to predict a time compared to like a 1500. Also, it's hard because now I have a lot more. So I've got 29, 30 athletes in here. Well, again, Jakob's in there twice, but you get the idea. So earlier this was like less than 40 when I only did like 6 athletes on the 1500, which the first round was this morning, which I have not looked at the results yet because I was kind of waiting, but I guess I'll try to watch that here in a bit. So now let's look and see. So just to show my prediction, I'm going to pull up. So I have, like I said, a front end that I have on just a local site here. So here's my, so when I hit this, it's going to show the results of this. So we're just going to go to it and boom. So again, this doesn't have the all the athletes for the 1500, but notice that even though Jakob has a faster time, this was predicting Josh Kerr to beat Jakob, and Yard was right. I know I don't have the hundredths of a second here, but he was just ahead of Yard was just behind, and then Cole Hawker, Timothy Chariot, and George Mill. Those are the only ones I have in there right now. But yeah, interesting that it has Jakob second. We know that's a very exciting situation going on there. So here is my predictions. So pretty fast. I don't expect this to be how fast this thing goes, but yeah. Notice Grant Fisher is 10th, which is kind of crazy. It's predicting him a minute slower than his best. Again, the time-wise is not that big a deal. It's really just, hey, so some of these results were tactical races, right, that I had to use, which, they weren't really going for time. They were kind of going for just finishing first. So, but it's interesting who I've got here. So, Cheptegei, I think I know he's going for gold. He has the 10K record, I believe. So, yeah, so Ethiopia, Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya, Canada, Kenya, Japan, and then Grant Fisher, USA. So we got Woody as well down here at 14th. So yeah, interesting that Grant Fisher, I know he's trying to go for gold. I think he said that earlier this morning or yesterday. So here's the model as it predicts. Granted, I had to take a couple of guys out. I think there's 25 or 26. So there's at least 2 or 3 that are not in here. But yeah, so for the men's, this is what the model predicts. We'll see how close I am. Now, granted, this error is high, really high. So I'm kind of wondering if I need to mess around with some of these settings because I wanted the error to, definitely be under 200, maybe even under 100, if possible. So we'll see. But yeah, this is what I wish I would have. I guess I need to fix it a little bit on this. It looks like it didn't take the hundredths of a second here, but. And notice, Jacob Clemimo, or how do you say his name? He's got the actual fastest time. Now, I didn't use all results for some of these, right? So Cheptegei, I think he actually has the 10K record, but it wasn't within the last, once I got 5 results going back in time, I didn't keep going, right? So his time must have been, several years ago when he actually ran set the record. Actually, this guy's actually 26:31. So a lot of fast times here. But at the end of the day, this is what the model spit out. So we'll see how accurate it is. So I'll come back and, or you can let me know if you actually see this video and look at these results after the fact and see how close I am. So you heard it here, ARIMA model, granted a little bit high error. So I don't know how accurate this will be, but I'm really not concerned about the prediction times, just who's ahead of, who came out on top. So we'll see. Pretty exciting stuff. Over and out.